All right, everybody, I got a recap of round 8 for you for Operation 1.5.2. Once again, that's a fight between myself and Madman, showing off the new 1.5 rule set for Kings and Kaisers. So anyway, lots of chaos has happened this round. The last two rounds were very much a build-up to the craziness of this round. So this is the casualty bin from round 8. A lot of stuff, a lot of action, a lot of units from pretty much everybody. Some significant things, some non-significant things, but mostly the results of 3 different battles happening on top of just the continued chaos in the Russian Civil War and various skirmishes throughout the colonies and stuff. First things first, the first big battle happened with Austria-Hungary invading Veneto. The the Italian-Austrian front and the Western front were like, I kind of compared it to like a growing cyst that had to pop, you know, and the floodgates burst open, and the Central Powers are represented with this task force right here for Austria-Hungary, and this task force here against Italy. The Central Powers came in from Dalmatia into Veneto finally, and just beat the heck out of the Italians. The Italians did give them pretty significant blows back, but the Austrians won their dogfight. They came in with three fighters versus the Italians 2. So the Italians were able to take out one of the fighters and such, but regardless, they do not have the cannon fodder necessary to really push back at all. So it's really just how much can they hold Austria back at this point. There are only 2 rounds of the game left, so unlikely that they'll get to Rome. But this can also, coming in here, can gives them another minor city here in Venice, which I'll just go ahead and mark down. Well, they don't have it yet, but they could. So, you know, I won't mark it because it's contested still. But they can get another minor city right there. And if they get one more minor city elsewhere, then they get the minor city 7 point. So, because right now they have, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they have 5 points right now. 5 minor cities. So because they have 5, they get 2 separate points just for that. Anyway, moving on. Austria-Hungary came in, smashed Italy right there, and continued patting Greece, and then also spreading out here in Africa with the units that they sent down here. And Austria-Hungary attacked the Brits that were in Afghanistan and knocked that out. Britain, on their turn, did not counter. The Central Powers had started pulling units out, but then they changed their mind and put units back in here, pretty much just to lock down these British units to prevent them from going elsewhere, is my theory. In terms of the Russian Civil War, the Soviets came down and crushed the Whites in Tatarstan, had just barely contested Urals. Just barely. Madman admittedly got diced on that, but he had 1 unit left which contested Urals, so he wasn't able to attack. The Whites were not able to attack Tatarstan, but just wiped that guy out. And as you can see, the Japanese are coming in as fast as they possibly can to help out the Whites, who have a dwindling economy but a lot of units, whereas the Soviets have a growing economy and the industrial hubs, you know, and such for Russia. Despite that, is still neck and neck. The Soviets have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the Whites have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 original Russian territories. So in the case of a tie, if nothing here changes, in the case of a tie, the Soviets win, because it's 9 against 9. But I have a feeling they're going to snag at least one of these territories, probably Turkmenia, probably contest that, and this Urals block here might just be a standstill, but we'll see how it pans out. The whites have built a fighter. The Japanese have sent a fighter in here. They don't have any artillery for that to boost up yet, but they do have a presence there, as we do also have an American here in Kazakhstan, and another Japanese infantry there as well. Moving on to Germany. Germany attacked Belgium. Like I said, that cyst on the Western Front just had to pop. This is what is left for Germany. Not from their initial attack, but they attacked the British and French, wiping out the British in Belgium and damaging the French significantly, who counterattacked, and eliminated all the remaining standard German infantry and stuff there. But yeah, so there's been 2 major battles here in Belgium. It's still contested. Not looking great for the Allies or the French, but the Brits are building up in a hurry there, and yeah, it's just a lot of bloodshed, a lot of different units killed. Madman also admittedly got completely diced on the dogfight battle for air supremacy. To give him a little bit of a grace there. Had the dice been better and more in his way, perhaps it would be a different story with just the air battle. But ultimately, it was because the French and British just had more fighters, more air units. Nobody's purchased the hero units, the Red Baron or Snoopy, so neither of those two came into play here. It just was a standard battle of twos, and the French now have 2 fighters left and an ace fighter, and have air supremacy when he will do his eventual counter, and then a few British units reinforce them there in Belgium. So Germany, however, does have quite a fair amount of tanks. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus a tank in there, so they can absorb 6 hits if they send all those tanks in there. But now is the time, if he has to choose if he wants to go all in on Belgium to crush that, and also possibly get the minor city of Ypres out of there, or if he wants to go into Verdun and get the major city victory point of Verdun in Lorraine. But France does have a minefield and a trench works, so they're going to have to get a lot of hits with what can get in there, and he can't send any artillery in there. They're not in range. He can tow an infantry in from Bavaria, and he can send those guys in, but basically be attacked with a bunch of 2s. So it's kind of unlikely that he'll get. Maybe not unlikely, but it's going to be hard, but it's still doable for him to get Lorraine in 2 rounds, and he might be able to be in a position where he can snag up the favorable trade here at the end with the Allies so weak here. It's possible, right? So whoever controls the most of these territories by the end gets the favorable trade point. The Western Front point is also Picardy, Burgundy, Lorraine, Belgium, Rhine Province, and Alsace. So whoever controls the most of those territories by the end gets that point as well. So it's not entirely possible this could become Central Power favor, but when French Republic just felt the need to be able to counterattack and dwindle Germany down more, because if they didn't, it would just. I felt as France, I felt that if I didn't, it would get even worse. But who knows? Yeah, I just got to get some units off the board, Anyway, so yeah, Britain, like I said, built almost everything in London, and they built some more units in India. Brought over the remaining units from Anzac. Didn't build anything except for 1 infantry in South Africa, but we got a trench works down there as well now, so that's pretty cool. And then Britain liberated Rhodesia and did an attack against the Germans in Belgian Congo. Afterwards, the Ottomans backed out of Darfur and went back to just solidifying Cairo, and Palestine, also beefing up in Persia and snagging Arabia away from the Brits, and then getting into reinforcing position. Much like the Ottomans, they're getting artillery set up to defend Constantinople and stuff here. And did I say much like the Ottomans? Much like the Austro-Hungarians. And the Austro-Hungarians are patting Greece with lots of artillery to give them offshore bombardments. Albania is still empty, but who knows? Anyway, what else? Italy did what it could. It pulled units out of contested Tyrol to reinforce Veneto, and tried to attack Tyrol with one guy left, but got lost that act of desperation, and just did what it can and just built more ground units. Italy generally gets dwindled in this game a little bit, and a large part of this also is because Italy got left up to the task earlier in the game of having to build so many sea units, and if Italy hadn't built if Italy hadn't had to build all those sea units, it would have translated into more ground units and a stronger battle here. But ultimately, because of what else happened on the board, Italy kind of got stuck with that and with that task and paid a price for it. And then on top of that, lost a bunch of them in the C-Zone 30 battle when I had to re-roll it because I screwed up on the first attempt of it, and lost a lot of sea units, and I haven't built any since. Anyway, America has had a pretty lively round, finally taking out southern Mexico. The Germans have control Central America still, but America will get that eventually, and built units out of Brazil with their military base that they purchased previously, and just started shucking units this way into the Mediterranean, finally taking over Tunisia, liberating that, and also liberating Libya. We'll see if the Ottomans feel like attacking or if they want to just, pad Egypt to make it so that the Allies can't contest it. It's either attack or beef up. America also came down here, reinforced the Brits in Belgium, and dropped another unit, moved another unit over into Cameroon, down there, and then the Chinese National Protection War finally got wrapped up with a very clear from the start, just because of dice, very clear from the start victory for the Empire of China. So one thing we're doing to change the Empire of China's setup is for this is that we are giving a third artillery back to the Republic of China to start with. So they will have 2 artillery in Yunnan and the 3rd artillery in Kwangtung, so that in case Empire comes in and takes over Zhejiang and gets lucky, that there's a better counter by Republic against it. But who knows? That's the only tweak we're doing for now. We also are going to tweak a couple of minor setup things for the Russian Civil War, but I'll get into that another time. But overall, we are very happy with this playtest. Very happy with how a lot of things turned out. It's still down to the wire, and things can still flip. Some things not so much, but other things can still very flip and fluctuate within. We got 2 rounds left. So this is what I believe, I might have this up to date, the victory points that we have. And actually, I have the Allies having the Pacific point, but technically the Central Powers still have the Pacific point because they control Central America, and that's an allied colonial territory of America. It's a colonial territory that borders the Pacific. So that is within or borders the Pacific. So technically, the Central Powers still have that point, but they won't have it. They won't have it much longer. Excuse me. Allies have the Africa point. Central Powers have the Suez. Maybe the Allies will be able to take it. I think it's kind of a slim maybe, but it's a maybe. Central Powers have 3 minor cities and 5 minor cities. Allies might be able to dwindle down 5. We'll see. Central Powers have the Balkans. It's possible I could break it, but I have to take 2 territories. We'll see. Or at least contest 2 territories. And Central Powers have Belgrade, of course. And Allies have China. Middle East oil, Central Powers have. Allies could possibly break it. I probably won't be able to break all the ones that I'm saying are possible. Central Powers, like I said, are threatening favorable trade, and also technically even threatening the Western Front. But things could go either way still. especially with how dice can be, you know. So we have those, and we shall see. So it's currently, what is this? Right now it's 1, 2. I'm gonna say Central Powers. I'm gonna say Central Powers have Fate of Russia. I'm just gonna say it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 5 to 8 currently. It's a crazy game. But especially as America gets more into position in the Mediterranean, which seems like where they're going. It's possible some units go up there, but I think America's going to be doing most of the work here in the Mediterranean this game, and we'll see what they're able to target and break, if anything, and what effect that they'll have. But right now they're just flooding the Mediterranean with transports, giving mobility to not just themselves, but the Italians, a few French possibly, and they're going to give some ability to those remaining Portuguese units for Britain. But anyway, it's a good game, really really fun game. Glad we've been doing this, and looking forward to the ensuing conclusion. So yeah, on to beginning of round 9. Quadruple check. I pretty much went over what everybody did. Yep, that's right. Okay. Here again is the look at the casualty bin. Just a ton of stuff. All these flight stands for all these fighters. Infantry from everybody. Basically, a British elite was killed. Poison gas was killed by a French poison gas was killed. Another British elite was killed. Yeah, just a hefty amount of stuff. So anyway, stay tuned for more Kings and Kaisers. Be rolling some dice again soon.